Hey y'all, it's your girl Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron, and we are back with another episode of Galactic Gossip. Yes. So here you will get the weekly updates on the astro energy. And yeah, I will dive right on into that because last week we are just coming right off of that heavy shift from Jupiter moving into Pisces and all of those things. And this week it's the start of Gemini season. So I'm going to be mighty extra for the next 30 plus days, and I'm not apologizing whatsoever. No. Anywho, so first and foremost, if you are new to my channel, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, get the notification bell popping also so you can get updates every time I post something new. If you are returning, what's good? How you been? How did last week treat you? We are moving on into new energy, as we always are. So a few quick announcements. We do have the dates set for the Trauma Conscious Yoga Full Moon Healing Circle. We have the remainder of the dates set for the summer. So if you have not gotten your tickets for that, hit that description box below and check out those links. Also, the last day for early bird is May 16th. So it's today. So or whenever day you're seeing this. So it's going to be May 16th, the last for the early bird. So that's $35 for the early bird. And then after that, it will be $40 up until the day of the event, which will be the full moon that is happening in Sagittarius at the end of this month. And it's going to be on the 26th, which happens to be an eclipse. So you don't want to miss this one. Also, I do still have the membership open and all of my other things that I have going on. You can find that information in the description box below. All right, so let's dive into this week, shall we? So we are going to be covering the energy from May 16th all the way through May 22nd. Okay, so at the beginning on May 17th, we have the sun, which is in Taurus at the time, and it's going to be trining Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Okay, so Sun trine Pluto is really good energy to use when it's time to focus like intensely on a subject, or even more so our personal transformation or topics that will assist with transformation of ourselves. Because the sun represents our personality, it's our life force, it's our soul expression. So things like astrology and psychology and other mystical subjects can come to the focus or a topic of discussion or interest under the influence of this transit. So we will feel driven to like dive deep into like those investigative topics, or diving deep into our psyche, uncovering the things that have been kept hidden regarding our evolution and also mental wellness. So this is wonderful energy to really communicate and talk and get that information out there to a therapist, see a therapist, or get a reading from an astrologer, something like that. There's also a possibility to experience increased personal power. So in turn, that will allow really good results in when we are interacting in like positions of authority or leadership, or even interacting with people who are in positions of authority or leadership. The sun is also like the ruler of authority figures. And then we have Capricorn. Pluto is in Capricorn. And so Capricorn is the ruler of authority figures and government and all those things. So the sun rules our personality, our focus, and our life force, as I mentioned. So when we have Pluto involved in this is all about transformation. This is about an ending, something is wrapping up, or something is being reborn. So we may experience like some complete changes, or even some elimination in things that go against our values, because the sun is in Taurus, and that's all about our values, our personal well-being. So using this energy to really like solve problems with a more positive approach, and allowing that Plutonian energy to eliminate what no longer needs to like live within us or be in our environment at all, or even in our psyche. It could be a belief or a thought process or anything, just something even unconscious as well, as all that Pluto energy is, all of that Scorpio energy. So moving on to the 19th, we have Venus which is in Gemini now, and it's going to be making a trine aspect to Saturn in Aquarius. So this is happening on May 19th, and Venus rules our values, material possessions, partnerships, love and beauty, material, all those things, the things that are tangible, pleasure senses, So and we have the planet that is of love and beauty making this aspect to the planet of determination and focus and our work ethic. Also, Saturn is about stability. So we might find ourselves committing to things of the Venus nature, like our finances or our partnerships, with a really great fortitude. So if you are not in a committed relationship, there is a tendency or a possibility that you might get into a committed relationship. Also, you might, become very serious about your material possessions, your finances, making responsible financial decisions to invest, right? Invest in something that's going to provide you long-lasting commitments, long-lasting gains in a sense. So like investing in something that's going to give you some kind of like financial yielding overall. Also, there is a potential, like in relationships, there's a potential that we might link up with someone. If you are not in a relationship, you might be getting involved with someone. If you do at this time, they might be much older. There might be a major gap in the age in the two beings, right? And so this energy also, when it comes to relating and speaking, because Gemini rules relating. And so we have Venus in there. So it's always about like the love language. And right now, our love language is all about communicating and words of affirmations and things like that. So although we might be feeling more introverted or feeling like we're blocked, or we are kind of like restricted with communicating and connecting with our friends during this time, because that's Saturn and Aquarius energy, that trine to Venus in Gemini is really great energy to like engage in social events, and really good for networking also, so for business things too. So alternatively with this, we could really use this energy to focus on like creative projects or finding structure within our normal routine and our normal flow. Okay, so moving on to the 20th, this is when the sun enters into Gemini. And this is going to be a little different because Gemini season is coming with some stuff, okay? So first and foremost, happy solar return to all of you beautiful Gemini people. I'm a little biased because I'm a Gemini and I'm not sad about it, okay? So happy solar return to the cosmic messenger of the zodiac. It's going to be officially Gemini season. So like I mentioned, this season is coming with some stuff, okay? Gemini season comes with 3 retrogrades and 2 eclipses, I believe. Yeah, and a whole bunch more stuff. And all this stuff that's coming in Gemini season is really like the theme of it is about change and growth and transformation for us all, really catalyzing that, shifting things, shaking some stuff up, right? So Gemini season begins with like this entry to like the sun goes into Gemini at the same point where like the cluster of stars known as the 7 sisters, we call that the Pleiades portal. So Pleiades portal, it's all about knowledge and information. It's like ancient wisdom, right? So there's an activation of this ancient wisdom that's going to be beamed down to the earth when the sun enters into Gemini on May 20th. So the sun will be squaring Jupiter in Pisces at the same time. So this is going to really make it easier for us to tap into those energies of abundance, abundant information, abundant knowledge, abundant wisdom, all of these things. And it could just be financial abundance, material abundance as well. But Gemini is all about the information. So it's going to be more so tailored on that aspect. So as we continue through Gemini season, we're going to witness that super blood full moon eclipse that's happening in Sagittarius, the new moon solar eclipse that's happening in Gemini. These moons are highly transformational. So we're going to be receiving spiritual downloads. We're going to have like that new wisdom that comes through that assists in our growth and our evolution, as well as receiving that abundance, telling us where we need to go and how we need to get there. That's Gemini season, giving us the messages that we need, right? So Gemini season is not coming to play with any of us, like I said before. And so it's really going to be that time to reflect and embrace the change, because Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is going to be going retrograde at the end of this month. So really just next week. So, and that happens right before Saturn goes retrograde. So they about to be squaring up in this retrograde, and yeah, so Pluto's already retrograde. So just keep that in mind. It's about to be retrograde season along with eclipse season. It's about to get real. Okay, so we're going to be connecting deeper to our actual mission and where it is that we are going, where it is that we desire to be, who it is that we desire to be, and also just an increase in our spirit, right? Because Jupiter is in Pisces. So tapping into that energy as well. It's going to be a really interesting summer, I must say. The finishing of spring. This is the last part of spring. So finishing spring and moving into summer is going to be mighty interesting. Okay, so moving on, the very next day, we have on May 21st, the sun in Gemini is going to be squaring Jupiter in Pisces. So this is, the way that we express ourselves, right? That's our soul expression, our creative self-expression. That's the sun. So when the sun squares up to Jupiter, it's going to make us really self-assured and optimistic and proud to be who the hell it is that we are. It's that confidence that's really added, that courage to be and show up. And when Jupiter is involved in anything, just about everything that it comes into contact with, it amplifies it. And it can be to the degree of abundance, because Jupiter rules expansion. And it can do so also to the extent of overinflation. So too much of something is bad for you, right? Too much of anything is bad for you in a sense. So we must express ourselves with enthusiasm, but we have to be aware of our tendency to overinflate things, to overdo things, whether it's our egos or, embellishing the words, because the sun is in Gemini, so we just talking. Y'all about to see my communication speed up. Because I also have Mercury in Gemini conjunct my sun. So there's that part. All right. So keeping in mind that we have this tendency under this influence to really inflate things and embellish things, causing certain circumstances not to turn out how we hope them to be. So we must not talk ourselves out of an opportunity, right? That's that Jupiter with, this likely overzealous attitude that we will have. Just keep that in mind. Be very aware of it. The energy is really just reminding us to acknowledge, moderation, and not to overdo things. Overspending and overeating can be a thing because, that's what Jupiter does. And it can become an issue if we are not consciously aware of this increased energy. Is more so like the dopamine is really increasing, so that feel good hormone is really like there for us right now. And tapping into that and experiencing that, we can really forget that this is just a feel good moment. Like we still have to have discipline, right? So alternatively, this energy is really great to enjoy the positive and optimistic vibes that are floating around, because that is going to assist us in making good fortune for ourselves, really focusing on the feeling. But we just have to be careful that we are not stretching ourselves too thin with this energy. Like, don't be trying to do too much, because Jupiter will do that. Jupiter will have you thinking that you can do, especially the square to the sun, having you thinking that you can do this, and this, and this all today. No, we're not doing that. So make sure that you are not just doing the most. Don't do that. Not this day. Okay. So moving on to the 22nd, Mercury in Gemini is going to be squaring Neptune in Pisces. And this is happening on May 22nd. So there might be a lack of clarity on this day floating around. Mercury rules our nervous system, our perceptions, our mental capacities. It's also our communication. So when there is a square to the planet of illusion, that's Neptune, Neptune rules dreams, we are prone to have distorted thoughts as well as communication styles. So we might not be receiving that information, that conversation that we're having. We might not really be receiving it how we should, right? So having a serious conversation on this day might not be ideal. Making like a serious business deal or making a serious business decision, don't do that, not on this day. I would strongly advise you seek legal representation or legal advice on anything. But even then, if this is affecting one, it's affecting the whole. So just kind of steer away from that. Also keep in mind that Mercury is already in its shadow phase as of the 14th. So it's getting ready to go retrograde next week. So that energy is already present along with this Mercury square Neptune. So just keep it light, keep it light. Also, just keep in mind that you're not processing the information, or really, you're not really processing it with clear understanding sometimes. And I'm not saying all the time, it's not going to be every conversation that you have on this day, but there might be some things that come up. So just don't sign any contracts or make any like serious deals on the 22nd. Okay, so that is all that I have for Galactic Gossip. And I hope that this information has been beneficial for you. Make sure you are marking this information down on your calendar. Also, make sure you check that description box for all of my updates, announcements, and all my things that I got going on. So I do hope that y'all have a wonderful week. I hope this has been helpful. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that. Hit me up in the chat box. I will holla at y'all next week. Bye.